The scene is set on a mountain peak, characterized by its high altitude and rugged terrain. The peak is covered in a blanket of snow, indicating a cold climate and high elevation. Snowflakes are gently drifting down, suggesting an ongoing snowfall. The wide shot emphasizes the vastness and imposing nature of the snow-covered mountain. Snow is actively falling, creating a winter environment. The snow falls heavily, indicating a significant accumulation. The location is a dense forest, characterized by a high density of trees. Evergreen trees dominate the forest landscape. The snow is intercepted by the branches of the evergreen trees. This creates a layered effect of snow-covered branches. A frozen lake is a body of water that has transitioned into a solid state due to cold temperatures. The surface is typically covered with a layer of ice, varying in thickness depending on the severity and duration of the cold. Fresh snow often blankets the ice, creating a pristine, white landscape. The stillness of the frozen lake reflects a serene and tranquil winter environment. High-altitude mountain ridges are often exposed to extreme weather conditions. Strong winds are a common occurrence in these environments. These winds can pick up loose snow from the surface. The wind-blown snow creates swirling patterns across the ridge. This phenomenon is particularly pronounced where the terrain is sharp and uneven. The visual effect is one of dynamic and constantly shifting snow formations. A valley is experiencing heavy snowfall. The falling snow creates a widespread visual effect. The snow obscures the details of the landscape. Distant features within the valley are difficult to distinguish due to the snow. The panoramic view emphasizes the scale of the snowfall event. Snow accumulates on rocky outcrops due to various meteorological processes. The texture of the stone influences snow accumulation patterns. Rough surfaces provide more points for initial snow crystal adhesion. Wind direction and intensity also affect snow distribution on the rock. The thermal properties of the rock can influence the rate of snowmelt. The scene depicts a stream partially covered with ice. Snow accumulates along the stream's banks, indicating cold temperatures. The partial freezing suggests a transitional state between liquid and solid water. This environment highlights the effects of seasonal temperature changes on natural water bodies. The contrast between water, ice, and snow creates a visually distinct winter landscape. The cabin is located in a mountainous region. The cabin is small in size. The cabin is almost completely covered in snow. The setting is during the daytime. The scene depicts a winter environment. Snowdrifts are formations of snow sculpted by wind action. They occur when wind transports snow and deposits it in sheltered areas. Obstacles like fences, trees, or terrain changes can initiate drift formation. Wind speed and direction are critical factors in determining drift shape and size. The leeward side of an obstacle typically accumulates the most snow. Over time, continuous wind action further sculpts the snow into unique shapes. Snow accumulation on tree branches can cause significant stress. The weight of the snow increases the bending moment on the branch. This bending can lead to cracking or complete breakage of the branch. The amount of snow a branch can support depends on its species and health. Ice accumulation further exacerbates the load and risk of failure. Preventative measures include pruning to reduce snow-catching surface area. The scene depicts a mountain peak covered in snow. The sky above is dark and overcast, suggesting an impending storm or harsh weather condition. The snow cover indicates a high altitude or a cold climate. The overall atmosphere is stark and imposing, emphasizing the mountain's ruggedness. The scene is set in a denser forest. Snow is falling silently, creating a peaceful atmosphere. The overcast sky contributes to the stillness. The snow covers the forest floor and trees. The overall effect is one of quiet serenity. The scene depicts a frozen lake under an overcast sky. The lake's surface is entirely covered in ice. The landscape is blanketed with snow. The grey sky contributes to a muted color palette. The frozen lake blends into the snowy surrounding. The overall impression is one of a cold, desolate environment. The scene is set on a mountain ridge, characterized by its high altitude and exposed location. Overcast conditions indicate a thick cloud cover, reducing visibility and ambient light. A howling wind signifies strong air currents, common in mountainous regions. The wind's force is sufficient to whip up snow, creating a blizzard-like effect. These combined elements create a harsh and potentially dangerous environment. The valley is covered by a thick layer of snow. Visibility within the valley is significantly reduced due to the heavy snowfall. The overcast sky contributes to the dim and obscured environment. The snow-covered landscape creates a limited visual range. A rocky outcrop is partially obscured by a layer of snow. The snow softens the sharp, angular features of the rock. The overcast sky diffuses the light, creating a muted visual effect. This combination of elements results in a scene of subdued natural beauty. The stream's surface is largely covered by a layer of ice. Snowfall has added an additional layer of coverage over the ice. The stream struggles to maintain its flow beneath the ice and snow. The overcast sky suggests a cold, low-light environment. This creates a challenging condition for aquatic life. The scene depicts a harsh winter environment impacting a natural waterway. The scene depicts a mountain cabin exterior during overcast weather. The cabin is covered in snow, indicating a cold climate and recent snowfall. The setting evokes a sense of isolation due to the remote location. Despite the harsh environment, the scene conveys a feeling of peace and tranquility. A snowdrift is a deposit of snow sculpted by wind action. Snowdrifts form when wind encounters an obstruction. The obstruction causes the wind speed to decrease. This reduction in speed forces the wind to drop the snow it carries. Over time, the accumulating snow builds up into a drift. The size of the snowdrift depends on wind speed and snow availability. A tree branch is subjected to significant stress. The weight of accumulated snow is the source of this stress. The branch audibly groans under the load. This indicates the potential for structural failure. Overcast conditions contribute to the snow's persistence. The scene is set on a mountain peak. The time of day is dusk, as indicated by the setting sun. The mountain peak is covered in snow. The snow reflects the last light of the day. The lighting creates a visually striking contrast. The overall atmosphere is serene and majestic. The scene is set in a forest covered in snow. The time of day is dusk, as indicated by the lengthening shadows. The forest is heavily shadowed as the sun sets. The overall atmosphere is one of approaching night in a cold, snow-covered environment. The scene is set on a frozen lake during dusk. The ice reflects the soft, fading light from the sky. The light creates a mirror-like effect on the frozen surface. The overall atmosphere is serene and still. The scene is set on a mountain ridge. The time of day is dusk. Wind is present, indicated by blowing snow. The wind is actively moving snow across the ridge. The environment appears cold and potentially harsh. The scene is set in a valley as dusk approaches. The valley is gradually being enveloped by darkness. Snow is actively falling, contributing to the somber atmosphere. The combination of dusk and snowfall obscures the details of the landscape. The overall effect is a sense of fading light and encroaching night. The scene is set at dusk, as indicated by the twilight sky. The rocky outcrop is the central element of the scene. As the sun sets, the rocky outcrop is cast in silhouette. The darkening sky provides a backdrop for the rocky formation. The silhouette effect emphasizes the shape and form of the rock. The overall atmosphere is one of quiet and natural beauty. The stream's appearance shifts as daylight fades. The water reflects the darkening sky, deepening its color. Shadows lengthen and obscure the stream bed. This creates a more mysterious and less defined visual. The stream's character transforms with the changing light conditions. The scene is set at a mountain cabin during dusk. The cabin is covered in snow, indicating a cold environment. A faint light emanates from the cabin windows. The light suggests activity or habitation inside the cabin. A snowdrift is a deposit of snow sculpted by wind action. These formations occur when wind redistributes fallen snow. The wind carries snow particles and deposits them in areas of reduced wind speed. Obstacles like fences, vegetation, or terrain changes can cause this deceleration. Over time, accumulated snow builds up, forming the characteristic shapes of snowdrifts. The scene depicts a tree branch. The branch is covered in snow. The sky is darkening, indicating dusk. The branch is silhouetted against the sky. The snow emphasizes the branch's outline. The scene is set on a mountain peak at night. The mountain is covered in snow. The darkness obscures much of the view. Visibility is extremely limited due to the night and snow. The forest is completely covered in snow. The snow creates a thick blanket over the landscape. The environment is quiet and still. There is a sense of peace and stillness in the air. The forest is silent under the snow. The scene is set on a frozen lake under the cover of night. The lake's surface is entirely frozen, creating a solid expanse. Darkness dominates the environment, limiting visibility. The setting evokes a sense of isolation and emptiness. The frozen lake appears desolate and devoid of activity. The scene is set on a mountain ridge. It is night time. A strong wind is blowing across the ridge. The wind creates a howling sound. The environment is harsh and exposed. The scene is set in a valley at night. Darkness completely envelops the valley floor. Snow is actively falling, blanketing the landscape. The falling snow obscures the details of the valley. Visibility is likely limited due to the heavy snowfall and darkness. The overall atmosphere is one of cold and isolation. The scene is set at night, obscuring the rocky outcrop in shadows. The darkness conceals the details and features of the rock formation. The lack of light emphasizes the mystery and potential danger of the location. The shadows create an atmosphere of isolation and uncertainty around the rocky outcrop. The stream's surface is entirely covered with a layer of solid ice. The water beneath is now in a solid state due to freezing temperatures. The ice reflects the minimal ambient light available at night. The frozen stream creates a still, silent environment. No water flows. The stream is completely immobilized by the cold. The surrounding landscape is also likely affected by the freezing conditions. The scene is set at a mountain cabin. The time of day is night. The cabin appears dark. There are no visible lights inside or outside the cabin. The surroundings are quiet. There is no indication of activity or sound. A snowdrift is a deposit of snow sculpted by wind action. At night, visibility is significantly reduced. The lack of light makes it difficult to distinguish objects. The snowdrift blends seamlessly with the surrounding snow. This indistinguishability creates a visual hazard. The uniform color and texture make it hard to perceive depth and shape. A tree branch is visually transformed by winter conditions. The branch's surface is entirely coated in a layer of snow. Ice further encases the branch, adding to the wintry aesthetic. The combination of snow and ice creates a stark, cold scene. The night setting enhances the visual impact of the frozen branch. The scene is set on a mountain peak. The mountain is covered in snow. The time of day is dawn. The first light of the sun is visible. The light illuminates the snow-covered peak. The forest is covered in a blanket of fresh snow. Dawn breaks, signaling the start of a new day. The forest slowly awakens as the sun rises. The snowfall creates a serene and peaceful atmosphere. The scene is set on a frozen lake. It is dawn. With the sun just beginning to rise, the soft light of the rising sun illuminates the landscape. The frozen surface of the lake acts as a natural mirror. The lake reflects the colors and light of the sunrise. The reflection enhances the serene and tranquil atmosphere of the scene. The scene is set on a mountain ridge. The time of day is dawn. Wind is present, indicated by blowing snow. The wind is actively moving snow across the ridge. The weather conditions suggest a cold environment. Visibility may be reduced due to the blowing snow. The scene is set in a valley. The time is dawn, as indicated by the gradual emergence from darkness. The valley is initially shrouded in darkness. As dawn breaks, the valley starts to become visible. The light increases, revealing the details of the valley. The transition from darkness to light signifies the beginning of a new day. The scene is set on a rocky outcrop. It is early dawn, with the first light illuminating the landscape. A recent snowfall has blanketed the rocks. The fresh snow creates a stark contrast against the dark stone. The landscape is transformed by the winter conditions. The scene captures the quiet beauty of a snowy dawn on a rocky terrain. As dawn breaks, the stream begins to experience a gradual thaw. The morning light provides the initial energy for the ice to transition into liquid. This thawing process is driven by the increase in ambient temperature. The ice crystals absorb heat, weakening their structure and initiating melting. The stream's surface reflects the sunlight, further accelerating the thawing along the top layer. The scene is set at a mountain cabin. It is dawn, the beginning of the day. The cabin is covered in snow, indicating a cold environment. Smoke is rising from the chimney. This suggests that a fire is burning inside the cabin. The cabin is likely inhabited. A snowdrift is a deposit of snow sculpted by wind action. These formations occur when wind encounters an obstruction. The wind slows down, causing snow to accumulate on the leeward side. At dawn, the snowdrift reflects the first light of the sun. This creates a glistening effect as the sunlight interacts with the ice crystals. The snowdrift's appearance changes with the angle and intensity of the sunlight. Frost is a deposit of ice crystals formed on surfaces. It occurs when water vapor in the air transitions directly into solid ice. This phase change, known as deposition, happens when the surface temperature is below freezing. The air must also be humid, providing the necessary water vapor. The tree branch provides a surface for frost crystals to accumulate and sparkle in the dawn light. Heavy snow accumulates on steep mountain slopes. The accumulated snowpack becomes unstable due to its own weight and environmental factors. Triggers such as temperature changes or additional snowfall can initiate an avalanche. The unstable snowmass rapidly cascades down the mountain slope. This sudden release of snow poses significant risks to anything in its path. The scene depicts an expansive field. The field is entirely covered in snow. The snow appears pristine and untouched. The setting is outdoors during daylight. The scene depicts an icy waterfall, a natural formation of frozen water. The waterfall is partially covered in snow, indicating a cold environment. The exterior setting suggests a natural outdoor location. The daytime frame indicates the scene is lit by natural daylight. The combination of ice and snow creates a visually striking winter landscape. The scene is set on vast open plain. The environment is characterized by strong winds. Snow is actively swirling across the landscape. This creates a dynamic and visually striking weather condition. The overall atmosphere suggests a cold and harsh climate. The scene is set in a remote wilderness area, far from civilization. The landscape is dominated by snow, indicating a cold climate or winter season. The location's isolation emphasizes a sense of solitude and detachment. The untouched beauty of the area suggests a pristine, natural environment. The overall atmosphere evokes a feeling of awe and respect for the power of nature. Fir trees are evergreen conifers known for their needle-like leaves and upright cones. Heavy snowfall can accumulate on the branches of fir trees, causing them to droop. The density of the foliage and the angle of the branches influence snow accumulation. This snow accumulation can create a visually striking winter landscape. The scene is set in a mountainous environment. The landscape is covered in snow. Mountains cast long shadows across the snow-covered ground. The shadows indicate the time of day, likely early morning or late afternoon. The contrast between light and shadow enhances the visual depth of the scene. Snowflakes are ice crystals that form in the atmosphere. Their formation begins when water vapor freezes onto a microscopic particle. As the crystal grows, water molecules attach to its surface. The unique shape of each snowflake is determined by temperature and humidity. This process results in intricate and varied crystalline structures. A blizzard is a severe weather condition characterized by heavy snowfall. It involves strong, sustained winds that cause blowing snow. These conditions significantly reduce visibility. Near whiteout conditions occur when visibility is extremely limited. Intense snowfall and high winds combine to create a hazardous environment. Travel and outdoor activities become dangerous or impossible during a blizzard. The scene is set in a snow-covered landscape. The environment is defined by stillness and quietude. An eerie silence permeates the atmosphere. The landscape is blanketed in white. The snow accentuates the sense of isolation. The overall mood is one of serene desolation. A frozen river is a river whose water has turned to ice due to cold temperatures. The freezing process typically occurs during winter months in regions with sub-zero climates. The extent of freezing can vary, ranging from a thin layer of surface ice to a completely solid river. Frozen rivers can significantly impact transportation, recreation, and local ecosystems. The ice cover can act as a temporary bridge for vehicles and pedestrians. However, it also restricts navigation for boats and disrupts aquatic life. Snow-capped mountain peaks are formed through the accumulation and compression of snow over time. These peaks are typically found in high-altitude regions where temperatures remain consistently below freezing. The snow accumulates in layers, gradually transforming into dense ice under its own weight. The peaks often appear to pierce through the clouds, creating a majestic and awe-inspiring sight. These formations are subject to erosion and other natural processes, constantly reshaping the landscape. Snowdrifts are accumulations of snow sculpted by wind. They form when wind transports snow and encounters an obstruction. Obstacles like fences, vegetation, or terrain features disrupt the wind flow. This disruption causes the wind to slow down, reducing its capacity to carry snow. As a result, the snow is deposited on the leeward side of the obstruction, creating a drift. A winter wonderland is characterized by a landscape transformed by snow and ice. The scene typically includes snow-covered ground, trees, and structures. The presence of ice formations, such as icicles or frozen bodies of water, is common. The overall impression is one of serene beauty and pristine whiteness. Winter wonderlands often evoke feelings of peace, tranquility, and the magic of the winter season. Powder snow is characterized by its light and fluffy texture. It is formed when snow crystals fall in very cold temperatures with little or no wind. This results in snow with a low density and high air content. The untouched nature of powder snow makes it ideal for skiing and snowboarding. The depth of the powder allows for smooth and effortless gliding. Its pristine condition offers an unparalleled experience for winter sports enthusiasts. Ice formations occur when water freezes onto surfaces like rocks and cliffs. The specific shapes and structures are influenced by environmental factors. These factors include temperature, wind, and the rate of water flow. The resulting ice can take on a variety of interesting and unique appearances. The scene is set in a winter environment, characterized by snow-covered ground. Bare trees stand out against the white backdrop, their branches devoid of leaves. The starkness of the trees creates a striking visual contrast. The trees are silhouetted, emphasizing their form and structure. The overall impression is one of cold and quietude. The scene captures the essence of a winter landscape. The scene captures a panoramic view from a high mountain vantage point. The altitude provides an expansive perspective of the surrounding landscape. Distant peaks and valleys are visible, showcasing the terrain's rugged beauty. The atmosphere is clear, enhancing the visibility of far-off features. Sunlight illuminates the scene, creating stark contrasts and shadows. The overall impression is one of grandeur and natural splendor. The primary sound element is the wind. The wind interacts with the environment. The interaction creates a rustling sound. The rustling sound is specifically caused by the wind moving through trees. The scene is set outdoors on a bright day. A narrow trail winds its way through the landscape. The entire area is covered in a blanket of snow. The trail provides a path through the snowy terrain. The scene is set at a remote outpost. The outpost is small and isolated. It is located in the midst of snowy mountains. The time of day is daytime. An alpine meadow is a high-altitude grassland or pasture. These meadows are typically found above the tree line. In winter, alpine meadows transform into snow-covered landscapes. The plants are dormant, buried under a blanket of snow. The scene presents a serene and stark winter wonderland. Ice crystals form through the process of water molecules solidifying. This solidification typically occurs when water is cooled to or below its freezing point. The process often begins with nucleation sites, where water molecules start to arrange into a crystalline structure. As more water molecules attach, the crystal grows, forming visible ice structures on surfaces. The landscape is entirely covered in ice and snow. The extreme cold has transformed the environment. The scene presents a stark and desolate beauty. The frozen conditions dominate the entire vista. The scene is set outdoors, featuring a mountain range. The time of day is sunset, indicated by the sun's position. The mountains are bathed in the warm hues of the setting sun. The sunlight creates a visually striking illumination of the mountain peaks. The overall atmosphere is likely serene and picturesque. The warm colors enhance the natural beauty of the landscape.